It's your voice and speak. The whole world is listening. You can hear my voice. Please go ahead. Go ahead and give us your name and where you are.
This is my greatest day since I came to this earth speaking with you. I have two questions to you, but before I go ahead, I will let you know the fact behind those questions. In 2017, I was working somewhere offshore.
You are working in the Gulf of Guinea. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I worked there before I traveled to America. My name is Indubi.
In Virginia,
go ahead. Virginia.
Yes, go ahead.
So when I was in Nigeria, when you were attacked, I was in the midst of all Nigerians. Yorubas were there, the Hausas were there. Even our Igbo brothers. It was very unfortunate. Only few of us stood by you when you were attacked. I saw our men falling. I was crying. Even our Igbo brothers, to save their jobs, they were saying all sorts of rubbish. And one professor from America, I don't know where he's coming from. He claimed to be an Igbo man. He wrote an article, The Downfall of Nnamdi Kanu. Very unfortunate. But there was one voice that stood by you.
I don't know why this line keeps going. I have no idea. Go ahead, please.
What was the
I don't know this. Hold on, please. Hold on. I want to get what you're saying. If anybody knows, we are using WhatsApp. Just stay where you are and hold on to your thought. We are using WhatsApp, and once other calls come in for some inexplicable reason, it suppresses the volume. I can't understand this. I know, of course, the number of calls are plentiful, but I don't understand why this is happening. I don't understand why it's happening, so I am trying to do the best I can to rectify it. I am trying to do the best I can to rectify it. If you can, please bear with me, because you said something very important. Please remain where you are. I do not intend to cut you off. Please stay where you are. I want to solve this very problem. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you watching.
Yes, now go on and repeat what you said, please. The last part of what you said.
Yeah, watching there at the sea where we were walking.
Yes.
You know, many people spoke their voices. Our Yoruba brothers lent their voices against you because they hated BIAFRA, most of them. Unfortunately, most of our Igbos, they were ashamed to speak up. Their brothers died struggling for what will benefit them. I was a voice that stood in the midst of voices. You know, I wouldn't mind. I told them that if I lose my job, so be it. If I go to jail, if I die, I'm not better than those that died. And again, there was one man in the midst of that struggle that was with you. He was not ashamed. He even made a video where he castigated our governors and our Igbos for not supporting you, being Asare Dokubo. But unfortunately today, the relationship between you and Asare is what, makes me confused in the sense that I don't know what happened. I know he must have offended you. We are human. But I want to know, is that problem you have with Asare such that it cannot be settled? That is number one question. Number two question, the World Igbo Congress. I was here in the United States when Professor Joffo made a video with the man in Canada. They call it worship media. When he talked about the need we having financial base as Igbos. I lent my own support. I gave some amount of dollars. I talked to my friends who were Igbos. They gave something. So, is there no need, you see, for us, whether I'm not an IPOB member, but I believe this struggle is for all of us. It's not for only IPOB. Is there any need for us to have a financial base through you? Because since then, we don't know what Professor Joffo came up with, what he gathered at the end of the day. We are interested to know. But for you, we know is the only man who is fighting for us. Is there no way you can make an announcement, because people hear your voice. Anytime you speak, we hear and we follow you. Why can't you task us, whether IPOB or not IPOB, for us to have a financial base? We are surrounded and occupied by powerful enemies who are very rich. Dangote alone can sponsor a war to destroy a race. Talk more of other billionaires or trillionaires in the north and their allies. And they have Islamic world around them. So we have nobody. But we have people in diaspora who can also confront them with our own little contribution. Can't we do something? Let us do something. Let us contribute this money. We are working. It is better me pay to IPOB than paying tithe to a church. I don't know what that money will come off at the end of it. It may even be used against my own race.
Of course. Thank you. Please, thank you very much. I will start from the first question you asked. I am not in enmity with anybody. Anybody who is a Biafran, I am willing and able to work with anytime, any day. But we ask for one thing in return, and that is consistency. We ask for discipline, and we ask for application. Very, very key. And if anybody feels that somehow they can infiltrate IPOB and from within serve the interest of the Islamic Janjaweed terrorist north, then they will be discovered and they will be given the same treatment we give to those who are inconsistent. The issue you're referring to is about inconsistency. I appeared in Israel and people went about making videos, but that is entirely up to them. And I'm glad to say that today, the rest of the Arab Islamic world are making peace with Israel. That is the thing about us in Africa. We pick up people's fights that doesn't concern us, things that we know little or nothing about, and we own it and we claim it, and that leads to our inevitable destruction. As I said earlier, anybody who is willing and able to be part of this very process to liberate the land of Biafra from Janjaweed stranglehold is more than welcome to do so. We have nothing against anybody, and of course, anybody who happens to be in my position cannot bear grudges. The only those we have refused to allow to come back into this movement are those who deliberately went out on a limb to try to destroy what Chukwu Kikabiyama has ordained. It is as simple as that. We have no issues with anybody and can never have issues with anybody. Coming to World Igbo Congress, as I said earlier, I have met Professor Ejiofor. He spoke very well. I like him. He's a good man. He's conscientious. He's a principled, honorable man. Professor Ejiofor is a nice man, and people should be speaking to him to ask him what became of the effort they are making. Because our people, we have the tendency of coming out and saying, oh, we are supporting, we have given 4 trillion, 5 trillion, that is not the case. And I can assure you that if you go to the coffers of World Igbo Congress now, I'm not sure they raised even up to $100,000. I'm not sure. I can tell you categorically because I know how our people behave. You said something very, very important as well. And I do like your staunch defense of what we are trying to do. We are fighting for our freedom, and that's all we are seeking to accomplish in no distant time. But you said you're not IPOB. I don't know how you can say that. Are you not an indigenous person of Biafra? Are you not from Biafra?
I'm from Biafra.
Exactly. So that makes you IPOB.
Biafra. I was born and I grew up. I live all my life. I had all my education in Biafra land.
Thank you very much. That makes you an IPOB family member. IPOB is a nation. It is not a group. That is the mistake that people make. Once you are a Biafran, you are IPOB by birthright. That is who we are. When we started this very movement, we deliberately set it out that way. We are not a group. We are not a collection of people. We are a movement of Biafran people seeking for their freedom. And I thank you very much. If anybody wants to, if people repent from their sins, of course, they will be forgiven. That is how life is. But for now, at this present moment, we need those who are consistent. Consistency. And I'm sure you must have heard me. I warned our Yoruba brothers and our brethren a few days back, and I told them, if the agitation for Oduduwa nation is the same thing we are going to experience as we did in 1999, when they brought out Obasanjo and Olufalaye and the whole movement fizzled out, And talking about those in London who knew what we are doing then everybody's mistaken. This is not, Oduduwa movement is not designed to place Tinubu in Aso Rock. Because as I said, I have absolute trust and belief that this generation of agitators for Oduduwa Republic, they are incorruptible. I can tell you that categorically. What happened between Azikiwe, we are in a new era. And this is going to be very, very pivotal in the liberation of not just enslaved nationalities within the contraption zoological republic, but also the whole of Africa as well. That I can assure you. Let us see if we can take this very call from this very individual calling us on WhatsApp. The caller on WhatsApp, give us your name and where you are, please, and your question. Your name, where you are, and your question. Good morning to you, please.
My name is Odini Wanko. I'm calling you from New Delhi, India.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, my question this morning is regarding our Amazonian brothers, because we have only international border in the south, which is kind of an escaping route for us. So, what is your plan with those people, those Amazonians? Because right now it's kind of difficult over there because they have many groups in that part of Amazonia. So, what are your plans? Because we cannot do this alone. We need people outside Nigeria. And that's the only border we have in the south. What are your plans? How we can reconnect with them and work with them? And secondly, regarding Middle Belt people, because last time I had a former speaker of House of Reps saying that he is an Arewa, that I'm not living an Arewa group, that they are Arewa. But if he said that they are Middle Belt and that he agrees, but saying that they are going to create another fashion, that he's not in support of that. So I'm asking you now, how are you able to have a chat with those Middle Belts? Because we need to unify everybody. We are all those people, but we have to unify everybody in this fight so that when they raise their flag, everybody will raise their own flag and we'll fight together. That's my question this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Starting with Ambazonia, we are in touch with the Ambazonians. Some of them made the mistake of listening to agents of neocolonialism. I was in the United States of America and I met the US-based Ambazonian leadership. They met me for meetings, we had discussions. And one thing that struck me was after that very meeting, they said to us that we shouldn't make our alliance public. The alliance between Biafra and Ambazonia should not be made public because some white people had advised them in Washington that Biafra and Ambazonia should be kept apart. And I said to them that this is the problem with you, some of you. You don't know, I said to them, don't you know that those asking you not to come close to Biafra are agents of neocolonialism? They want you to continue to suffer because they know that our strength is in our numbers, that once we come together to fight for a common cause, then we can defeat any enemy. I said that to them, but I can say to you quite categorically and loudly that we are in touch with Ambazonia leadership. There are bound to be, multiplicity of groups. We understand that. We have managed, in the case of Biafra, to keep this family one. But you know that black people, we have issues. And one of the key problems that, bedevil us is our inability to be disciplined and to apply that discipline in all that we do. We've managed to do it with IPOB, and I'm sure we are in touch with the right leadership of Ambazonia. Some things that we are doing we cannot say in the open. If not that you ask this question now, I wouldn't have told you that we met their leadership. If you check one of the videos that was made when I was in Los Angeles, a traditional ruler from Ambazonia came to see me and he prayed. He poured libation. I think the video is out there. So we are in touch with Ambazonian leadership. And so-called, is the leader of Senate in the zoo. saying that he may support them breaking away from Arewa, but that he's a northerner, he's Arewa. That's what he would say. He's a black man. He is the president of the Senate as a result of his willingness to be submissive to Janjaweed rulership over his people. That is what they do. You know, a black man, once you, like Bajabi Amila, he's a Yoruba man, but he was a Muslim converted to Christianity. Then once that position became vacant in APC, he reconverted to Islam. That is what they will do anything to remain relevant. And that is why we are different. So forget those people, they don't exist. The real owners of the land in the Middle Belt are rising up, and very soon they too will rise up. And we are saying that the Yorubas have flown their flag yesterday in Yaba. The Oduduwa flag has been raised yesterday, publicly, I believe, for the very first time in Yaba yesterday. And I am asking the Middle Belt to do the same. They shouldn't be afraid. I know that they're close to the Janjaweed. They can do anything to us. They can't do nothing to you. They can't do anything. They will come, they will shoot at a few people, but if they kill you and you kill them back, their brain cells clicks into here. That is why I said it in the open, I'm saying it right here now, live on air. Any day the army or the police goes somewhere again, I will give the order, the commandant of that very cantonment or whatever will be killed. I'm saying it live and open to the whole world, telling of the whole world. If you kill Biafrans, I will give the order, you'll be killed. That is what we're going to do. All this nonsense, they come, they shoot, they go, they come, they shoot, come and gone. It's not going to happen again. The worst they can do is to arrest somebody. That's the worst they can do. Once somebody is in your custody, CASA, 144 division, be the one in Ohafia, I don't care who you are. Once you tamper with the life of a Biafran, we will pursue you and we will kill you. So that when you're writing, IPOP, that I will ask you to write it in bold, writing his nonsense. Right? If you come to Biafra land to kill our people, God is my witness, we will kill you as well. You can kill, but as you're going, you too will be killed. So you will feel the pain as well. In the Middle Belt, we're asking them to rise up. After many years, as our brother said earlier, when I was attacked and they tried to kill me and a lot of our men died, as a direct consequence of that assault on my home, I lost my parents, my father and my mother, including my cousin. I know that some Yoruba people we are making merry and laughing. That is how forgiving we are. Because we understand, there is a name with Kiruka, we understand that what is in front is greater than what has gone by. Or what has gone past us. If we are sincere and honest about our intentions, we must also fight for the freedom of other people as well. We want everybody to be free. Regardless of what may have transpired in the past, we want everybody to be free at the same time. And that's what we are fighting for, that's what we're working towards, and that is what we are accomplishing. Because today, if anybody said to you 2 years ago, that the Oduduwa people will find the courage to rise up and demand for their freedom. Some of you will say no to that, but today, that is the reality. Today, before the whole world, the Yoruba race have risen. They have risen, and we commend them for that. And long may it continue. Long may it continue. Anybody who wants freedom, we are prepared to work with. If oil and gas is your problem, I swear, we're not doing anything with it, because the greatest resource we have is our brain. Anybody relying on oil and gas is an absolute idiot and an animal. Even the Janjaweed is better than that very person. We are going to go to the line and to WhatsApp, to be precise. The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me? Sorry, on Skype, can you hear me? For the last time, the caller on Skype, can you hear me? Before I go to another caller, can you hear me? No. They can hear me, but maybe they're afraid to speak. I want all those intellectual people, those who claim they're educated, to come here to defend one Nigeria. That is what I'm asking for. That is what I'm pleading for. I have a caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Martin and the Canal.
Please. Thank you. I'm fine. Your name and where you're calling from, if you may.
My name is Sagar Chuku. I usually go by Dr. Kevin. I'm calling from Washington State in the US.
Please go ahead.
I have 4 questions for you, but first of all, I want to say something. When I was in Michigan State, I happened to be close to the Amazonian in America, and they told me exclusively they went to meet you in Washington, D.C. last time when you came to the US. They were so excited.
and they hold you in very high esteem, and they believe positively they can work together with the Biafran people. So I heard you talk about Amazonia. They are so interested in working with us, and they told me they met you in Washington, D.C. Anyway.
Yes, yes, thank you for that clarification. I met them in Washington, D.C. I also met them when I was in Los Angeles, and we'll be having meetings with them as time goes on, because believe it or not, some people will say we are going to land the grab. Believe it or not, we are the same people. But that is a story for another day. That is a story for another day. Please go ahead.
Okay, I have 4 questions for you, and you forgive me.
One at a time. One at a time, and make it very brief. Because there are millions of people trying to get through. Go ahead.
I understand that. I'm sorry, but it's taking me many months of consistency to get you today on the phone. So first of all, I would like to know if you could create a communication path for people to reach you, maybe by an email or WhatsApp or website or something, so we don't have to pass through rigors of meeting different coordinators before we get hold of you, especially when we have exclusive information, especially when we have something important we want to share with you or with the DOS. So if you can create a pathway, it's going to help all of us. And second, I would like to make your leaders, different coordinators, understand that the struggle is not just exclusively for IPOB members, but for every Biafrans.
No, there is nothing like an IPOB member. Listen very carefully. We have IPOB family members. These are people who attend meetings. These are the people that Garuba Shehu is afraid of. These are the people that provide that funding that we are using very judiciously to share. Family members, which means you attend a meeting. Let's say you are from Ungwa. You may be an Ungwa person, but if you haven't joined the Ungwa Progressive Union in America, you are not an Ungwa family member in America. You can be an Ungwa person moving about all over the place. Is that not correct? But unless you join the Ungwa Progressive Union. So those people in Ungwa Progressive Union, they are the ones fighting to make sure our primary healthcare sector in Ungwa is functional. The same thing applies to IPOB on a larger scale. Those who actually attend meetings, commit their money, commit their blood, and this freedom comes about, are IPOB members of that. That to understand. You yourself talking, you are IPOB, but you are not a family member because you don't go to family meetings, because you don't contribute anything towards realizing this very freedom that we all want. That is the only difference.
I understand, Martin Alicano. Actually, what happened was this week.
Yes.
I was explaining to him, Dr. Kuru, I explained to him for the past few months, I consistently contributed to the movement. I have a username and password on the website, and I know how much I do contribute. And I'm a participant, and I believe in the struggle. I'm a proponent of this movement. But when he heard that I wasn't officially registered, he was uninterested. He practically cut off the phone. And I was so disappointed, and I would like you to address that with the leadership. And
you shouldn't be disappointed. You can understand why Dr. Kuro did what he did, because our people are dying. So when the leadership of IPOB come across somebody who is a Biafran, and you're dragging your feet, you are not forward to support what you know within your hearts of hearts to be right, then it leads to disappointment. If I were in his shoes, I will be disappointed. If you know that we need this freedom desperately, if you know that our people are dying, if you know that Fulani Janjaweed terrorists are in our towns and in our villages and our forests, then why are you dragging your feet? Why don't those ideas that you have, it could be your idea that will unlock that very door that will lead us into freedom. But you are outside. What are you doing outside? Why can't you be part of it on the inside? That's what we are asking. It could be your idea, because nobody knows everything. Every day I learn, every day I study. It could be the idea that you have that will give us that thing we are looking for. Why don't you do it from the inside? Why are you outside saying, oh, IPOB members? That is what I'm saying.
Please, I have 3 questions. Next, please, is there a way we could remain neutral in relation to the U.S. presidential election, just like the Israeli state. Instead of us tending towards a Republican Party or Democrat, we could be interested that whatever happens in November, our interests must be maintained within the U.S. political class. That's another question. I have another question for you, and could you consider possibility of making IPOB a Biafran lobbyist movement even after Biafra is achieved? In that way, instead of us dissolving IPOB after restoring the sovereign state of Biafra, but IPOB could be like the Israeli lobbyist movement in the world, protecting Biafran interests in the whole nations, especially in the U.S. I say this because when you look at what happened in different nations like Ghana, where many Nigerian citizens are having problems with host nations, if there is something like a lobbyist movement, there will be more understanding between the host nation and the citizens, regardless of what the standard of the government is. And especially when we look at what happened after the war. After the war in 1970, the world had formed a lobbyist movement. The interests of the Biafran people would have easily been protected across the world, and maybe that would have helped you not to have much difficulty trying to register IPOB all over the world, because we basically started this movement from the scratch, but it should have been a continuum after the genocidal war that killed about 5 million people in 67 to 70. Lastly, I'm sorry for many questions, but lastly, is there a way we could enshrine on our archives that there's no forgiveness, there's no mercy, there's nothing like baby saboteur? The people we regarded as baby saboteur has eaten milk and protein, and they have become dangerous, especially when they link up with baby saboteur in Turkey, late Germany. They could become a little harmful to the